Hey, love. Welcome. I'm trying to make my this area uncomfortable for me. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm trying to get this to come out. Oh, oh shit! What's that? Oh goodness. Okay. Okay. Whew. Gosh. I bring my book. Stop. Stop. Stop saying things that will make me block you. Don't say disgusting things that will make me block you because I'm that girl. I am that girl, okay? I'm that girl. I block subscribers from my channel. Thanks, darling. Thanks, David. I'm too good. I know, I know, darling. So let me tell you, yesterday I went out on a date. The guy was so great. He bought me a book. Okay, I didn't ask him. He offered, okay? We went like on a gift shop. We went into a gift shop and there was this book. It was like $16. And it's I don't know if you know this poet, Rupi Kaur. Let me try this way first. This Rupi Kaur. That's the book. She's a poet. So today, let's look at some of the things she said. No one on this planet is in more denial. I just opened a book, a page, right? No one on this planet is in more denial than the white man, who, regardless of all the evidence in front of him, still thinks racism and sexism and all the world's pain doesn't exist. The world is changing. Can you feel it undressing itself and slipping into something uncomfortable and just more. Okay, that's one of the things. She said, this one is not your convenient, not your convenient figurehead. I'm not interested in in a feminism that thinks simply placing women at the top of oppressive system is progress. David Joroge in the house. Hmm? Emmanuel is greeting us from Mexico. Um, there is one poem here actually that I found so funny. I even took a photo of it and sent one of my friends. So let me read it because I don't know what page it is. Let me see if I can. That poem was so funny. This is for, it's actually good for men who like calling each other out. What page was this? Okay, it says, oh, but the pussy is brave, lest we forget how much pain the pussy can take, how much pleasure it delivers unto itself and others. Remember how it spits you out without a flinch, and here you are using the word pussy like an insult when you're not even strong enough to be one. This is the name of the book. Homebody. That was funny. And then I used to cry because I could not find a good man to love me. Now I have one, and he isn't enough. The others were always halfway out the door. That's what made them alluring. Isn't that funny? Why do I hurt the ones who want to lift me up and worship the ones who crush me? What made me like this? Hey, that's very confronting. What made you like that? Why do you hurt the ones who want to lift? Why do I hurt the ones who want to lift me up and worship the ones who crush me? What made me like this? I mean, when you think about neuroprogramming and how we are programmed to hate ourselves, my nails be beautiful, right? Which color do you like on my nails? My manicurist liked this color on my nails. I do like the milky white. I do like this one too. Happy Easter. Oh, 7. Nice to see you. Let's look for another one. A man can't give me anything I can't give myself. Things I wish I could tell the younger me. Masturbation is meditation. You're Sri Lankan. JK from Sri Lanka. In a world that doesn't consider my body to be mine, self pleasure is an act of self preservation. When I'm feeling disconnected, I connect with my center touch by touch. I drop back into myself at the orgasm. I mean, this book, you better love it. I like the poems. it's not, I'm not going to pretend to be less intelligent than I am. So a man can feel more comfortable around me. The one I deserve will see my greatness and want to lift it higher. You know, a lot of times we go into rooms where we have to shrink ourselves and we don't want to talk too much. We don't want to appear intelligent. We just are conditioned to shrink ourselves. And you can't keep denying that part of you, because if you make it a habit, you're going to make it a habit not to be authentic. And I like that she puts that across. This is a good one. I want you to wipe away everything you know about love and start with one word: kindness. Give it to them. Let them give it to you. Be two pillars, equal in your love, and you carry empires on your back just by being kind to one another. Oh, this one you want to listen to this one. This one she calls baptize. Ooh. Do you want me one? Do you want me to read this one? This one is a little real. It's a little bit too much. Hi, son. I'll read it though. Oh my goodness. This girl creates problems in people's lives with this poem. She says, I wrap my holy legs around his around his heavy head, and let his song and let oh man, I wrap my holy legs around his heavy head and let his tongue swim towards salvation. Baptize. She goes, I'm baptized. That's, and that's the poem. Whoa, whoa. I want someone who is inspired by my brilliance, not threatened by it. Look me in the eyes when you're down there eating for your life. I want to see what you do to me. I swear. This is what she wrote. This is what she wrote. Uh, Look me in the eyes when you're down there eating for your life. I want to see what you do to me. I swear. That is page 79. This girl, I am careful about who I spend my energy on. I know my worth. Hey, 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 hey. That cream. My body is so hot from wanting you. I am spilling by the time we take our clothes off. I want the kind of love that transcends me into another realm. I want you so deep we enter the spirit world, go from being gentle to rough. I want eye contact. Spread my legs to opposite ends of the room and look with your fingers. I want my soul to be touched by the tip of yours. I want to come out of this room different people. Can you do that? Can you do that? She asks at the end of it. After she says all these things, she's like, can you do that? Uh, and then she has this. So that section was heart, right? So she has it in sections. So this is the heart section, and then she has another section um, that is rest, and the other one that is awake. So okay, let's do more of the heart section. The heart section seems to be fire. Sometimes I love you means I want to love you. Sometimes I love you means I'll stay a little while longer. Sometimes I love you means I am not sure how to leave. Sometimes I love you means I have nowhere else to go. I have different, that's funny. I have difficulty separating abusive relationships from healthy ones. I can't tell the difference between love and violence. It all looks the same. When people have been in abusive relationships for so long, they don't know the difference between love and violence. uh, Jaroge, you're looking for this book. I was trying to make him the one, and it took me 3 years to realize love doesn't work like that. Men like him are experts at smelling out girls like me, the invisible ones who believe they must be ugly because their fathers didn't love them. He said my name, and I had never heard my name dance from a man's lips before. Give a little attention to someone who's never had any, and they'll be sleeping and falling all over the place, unable to contain the joy of being wanted, the relief of being discovered. He groomed me into thinking I couldn't survive without him. This is how men like him trap girls like me. Predator. No, I chose this book. There were other books, but I chose this one myself. He just bought it for me. I was going to buy it. And then in this economy, somebody asks you, do you want to buy it for yourself or do you want me to buy it for you? How would you respond? How would you respond to that? Hey, do you want to buy this for yourself or do you want me to buy it for you? I will never, ever, ever spare your coin if you're a man, okay? You're still always going to buy it for me. Okay. I would never offer to go deep into my pockets. When a man is around, when the king is around, why would I do that such a thing? No, not me. Not me. Okay? Not me. Don't ask me why I didn't leave. He made my world so small. I couldn't see the exit. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, wow. I'm surprised I got out at all. Oh, oh, oh. Kai, Kai, thank you so much, my love. This is one poem. Don't ask me why I didn't leave. He made my world so small. I couldn't see the exit. I'm surprised I got out at all. If someone doesn't have a heart, you can't go around offering them yours. Isn't that something? Think about it. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Think about it. What that poet said. If someone doesn't have a heart, you can't go around offering them yours, right? Right? That's profound right there. If you're waiting for them to make you feel like you're enough, you'll be waiting a long time. And then she draws a picture of the clock. She draws this photo here of the clock. Oopsie, sorry. There. uh, yeah, she says, if you're going to be waiting for other people to make you feel like you're enough, you're going to be waiting a long time, baby. Sweetheart, you're going to be waiting a long, long time. So long. My darling, you can't go around waiting for people to make you feel seen and important, that you matter, right? You're going to wait a long time. I'm leaving because I am not happy here. I don't want to reach the end of my life still having doubts about the man I've been with since my 20s. She's leaving. She's not happy there. And she don't want to keep wondering about a man she met in her 20s. She's not happy. She leaving. ah, why does everything become less beautiful once it belongs to us? Greetings, Soeva. Nice choice. You made a good decision. It has powerful poems. It really has these beautiful poems. Why does everything become less beautiful once it belongs to us? Huh. Ooh, that's very, very confronting. Like once you buy something from the shop and you get used to it. I don't know. I have like this sweater that I love, okay? I've had it forever. Oh, this sweater. You probably have seen it. I go to church with it. I go to work with it. I mean, people like it. I like it. Like I've had this thing forever. I wear it every week. Like I don't know where I'd go without this sweater. Like I love this sweater. Right? For me, this sweater is more beautiful every day because it belongs to me, right? There are things for me like clothes that I wear. This dress, I've had it forever, right? I love it. I've had it for more than 5 years. I just loved it. I love it still. Yeah, but I think sometimes in relationships we get to take our partners for granted. You know, you wanted this partner, and then once you have them, you kind of start getting used to them. You know, you're taking them for granted, right? I saw this video this morning of this guy who was crying, and he was crying. He was like, my marriage, it ended because of me. And I lost this woman. And he was crying, crying, crying. Yeah, because once he had that woman, right? She became less beautiful to him. Uh, which story are we talking about? Right? It took me getting into a healthy relationship to realize I shouldn't be scared of the person I love. you really shouldn't be scared about the person that you love. You should feel at home. This is the feeling that you want when you're in love. You're feeling safe. If you're not feeling safe around somebody, if you're feeling that they might leave you, if you're feeling that they are using you, like you're not feeling safe, that's not love, right? You know it's love when you feel safe. Safe to say the things that you want to say. Um, yeah, without somebody taking it personally. For me, there are things that I don't know. For me to love somebody, they really have to get to be very intelligent because I say things. Okay, I say things um that are honest. Okay. If you're not intelligent, you might feel like I'm striking you. I used to cry because I could not find a good man to love me. Now I have one, and he isn't enough. The others were always halfway out the door. That's what made them alluring. This is kind of like a toxic mindset, right? The part of the human psyche that's toxic and self sabotaging, that you want men that are halfway out the door, right? It's kind of like, it's kind of like wanting to be the side chick, right? You kind of like, you want that married man, you don't want the man himself, right? You want one that's taken, one that's halfway out the door. Not the one that's always here, right? You want the one that's kind of on his happy Easter. John Hernandez, Chris, right? Chris Pinash, Marishadis, Tanzania, nice to see you. Seni Mats, nice to love you. So, do you identify with this poem? I used to cry when I could not find a good man to love me. Now I have one, and he isn't enough. The others were always halfway out the door. That's what made them alluring. There's some, that's some shit right there. That's some shit right there. Hmm. One leg in, one leg out, right? That's what she wants. She doesn't want the one that's out here. She wants the one that's always like one leg in, one leg out. That's what she finds fascinating. I think it's people who like to be in survival mode. If you give them safety, they're not familiar with safety because they're used to be in survival mode. They're used to not having their cake and eating it, right? So they're just used not to having life in abundance, right? And that's what alluring for them, like the constant chase. But once they catch it, it's like, ah, now I have it. You know, it's kind of like the animals that are always in survival, right? They always want to go hunting. But when they catch the prey, they get two bites of it and then they are bored, right? And then they want to go back to the chase. That's some shit right here. Love looks like octopus. Any leg will leg. Love begin in, on, from. Love is a gift. Love is like an octopus. I've never thought about in perspective. Why do I hurt the ones who crush me? I guess it's the survival mind, right? The survival mind, you feel like um, you're not enough. And then is this one is also the same one, right? I don't know what to do with a man who wants to hold on to me for the rest of our lives. We are here looking for love, okay? Some people have more than enough choices that she says, yeah, I don't know what to do with a man who wants to hold on to me for the rest of our lives. Like, I don't know what to do with true love. I have no clue what to do with true love. I am afraid I won't find the one who sees me and rushes to breathe me in. I have a fear of seeming too desperate. I'm scared I will be cheated on with a woman more brilliant, more striking, more of me in every way. Terrified this will confirm what I already know, that I am not enough for someone to stay. Where is the burning match that will set me on fire? What if I've already walked by the one on a street corner? What if I've already been with them and ruined it? Who will love me enough to spend their energy getting close to someone so inconsistent? What if the one I want is someone who touches me and leaves, and the one who doesn't leave is someone I can't stand touching me? Will it always be bad timing? Will I ever be sure? Will I settle? Will I be on my own forever? Will I be on my own forever? Oh goodness, this is so funny. This one I like. I must read it twice. I am afraid I won't find the one who sees me and rushes to breathe in me. I have fear of seeming too desperate. I am scared I will be cheated on with a woman more brilliant, more striking, more of me in every way. Terrified this will confirm what I already know, that I am not enough for someone to stay. Where is the burning match that will set me on fire? What if I've already walked by one on a street corner? Right now, she's wondering, like, her insecurities are now coming up, right? What if I've already been with them and ruined it? Now she's like, what if I've already met the one that's supposed to fall in love with me and want me, and I already ruined it because maybe we were just having a conversation on the streets? And then I ruined it for myself. Maybe I was too feminist or whatever and I ruined it. What if I've already been with them and ruined it? Who will love me enough to spend their energy getting close to someone so inconsistent? What if the one I want is someone who touches me and leaves? Like, and the one who doesn't leave is someone I can't stand touching me. Now that is another thing, right? The people that always want to be in your life as a woman are the guys who, don't take good care of themselves. They're like, oh, I want to go get a beer. They have a stomach up to here that's always covered by a dirty shirt. Uh, And they're the ones who want to stay. They're the ones who want to stay, right? Will it always be bad timing, right? Will I ever be sure? Will I settle? Will I be on my own forever? Survival mindset. One doesn't easily believe when everything is good. It's always a sign that it's not real. You know, this the theory of attachment, the attachment theory is the theory that really, really explains why we are that way. Like why people who are insecure about love, they get to be that way. And this comes from your earliest caregiver. And a lot of people like to blame the mother. It's not always the mother, it's always also the father, or whatever your earliest caregiver was. Like if they were so busy between the time your mother is pregnant and the 3 years beginning our life, okay, that is when the attachments, we start attaching to somebody in our life. And how we attach to that person in the beginning of our lives is determines how we attach to other humans in the future. So if your mother or your father or your grandmother or your grandfather, whoever was taking care of you, was not consistent in in making sure you're well fed, there's time, there's consistency, you become insecure. But if they are also very consistent, you become securely attached. And this insecure and secure attachment goes with us for the rest of our lives unless we meet somebody who is very securely attached and they are able to train our nervous system to become securely attached, right? We will continue on with this insecure attachment style. And so I'm fascinated by her because of the striking the way she brings on this insecure attachment style in her poems. Because like when she asks like things like, what if the one I want is someone who touches me and leaves, right? Why does she want somebody who comes to touch her and then goes? Why does she want somebody who is so avoidant, right? Somebody who is giving her love and then walking away. Somebody who's coming here to just touch her and leave. Like, if you think about it from a nervous system, why is she attracted to this inconsistent behavior? Because this is a part of her, right? That her early caregivers were inconsistent with their affection for her, right? Maybe one time they would be soothing her, and then another time they'd abandon her for hours and hours. And she'd be probably wondering, when will my mother come back? When will my father come back, right? So she's used to this inconsistent caregiving. Her nervous system is familiar with somebody loving her and then leaving her. This is what she knows, this is what is familiar. She's not familiar with consistent love, consistent affection. So this is why she asked, what if the one I want is someone who touches me and leaves, and the one who doesn't leave is someone I can't stand touching me? So she doesn't really want this secure attachment style. Not that she doesn't want it, is she's not familiar with it, right? She's not familiar with a secure type of love. Hi Moaz, hi Af at FF, right? Hi Tim, right? So that's very interesting. Will it always be bad timing? Will I ever be sure? Will I settle? Will I be on my own forever? Again, you see those insecure attachment styles, right? People who are securely attached, they don't have to worry about being alone forever, right? They don't have to worry about settling for somebody. um, your partner is supposed to enrich your life, not to drain it. Staying when it hurts is not love, right? Somebody should be nurturing and pouring into you as much as you're also pouring into them and nurturing them. I too, I'm too in love with my life to be spilling all over the floor for the next man who gives me butterflies when I could look in the mirror and take my own breath away. Okay, what am I doing? Today I'm reading this poem this book of poems by Rupi. That's what I'm doing today. Nothing can replace how the women in my life make me feel. You know, for me, a lot of people when they talk true love and they say, "Oh, a woman and her child, that's true love." Um, I never experienced that kind of a love from my mother because I lost my mother when I was very young. I know my mom loved me, but I just didn't experience it for a long time. The love that I know is the love that I mostly share with my girlfriends, right? When we talk, when we have conversations, like the women in my life, I think they've shown me more affection, right? Whether is, my sisters or friends that I made in school, of, women that I've made. Like those are the people who have shown me affection and love in my life. Okay. I can say I've gotten love from romantic relationships that much, but mainly for me, if you ask me about love in my life, I would say the women in my life are the people who've shown me love the most. So if you ask me where love is, I would say that's where for me I find love with the women in my life. Like if I reflect about it deeply. And I think that's enough for me as well. Like nothing can replace how the women in my life make me feel. I identify with that poem. It's impossible for one person to fill you up in all the ways you need to be filled. Your partner can't be your everything. Ooh, she said it. It's impossible for someone to fill you up in all the ways you need to be filled. Your partner can't be your everything. And I think in modern society, we want our partners to be everything. You want him to be your best friend, to also provide for you. You want him to be your doctor. You want him to emotionally nurse you. Like you're looking for this one person to be a whole community in your life, right? To be your doctor, to be your teacher, to be your best friend, to be your working out partner, to be your business partner. Like, we are looking for one person to just fulfill everything. Hi, Mr. David, right? And yeah, I like that she says that. I like this poem, this book of poem. I can't live without romantic love. I can live without romantic love, but I cannot survive without the women I call friends. They know exactly what I need before I even know I need it. The way we hold space for each other is just different. I'll say that love is blind, but I saw many truths with. Yeah, for me, I do like the way nurturing women in my life have been. A man can't give me anything I can't give myself. Things I wish I could tell the younger me. Isn't that so true for women? I think a lot of women, if they have a father in their life, right? Like if they realize, oh, he's providing for me, he's offering protection and all that, right? But as you grow older and just as you become an adult, right? You realize how vulnerable your father is to also to the world economy, to health and disease, just like everybody else, right? And as much as you would want to project that image you have of your father as this big guy and project it to another male, it's just not gonna work, right? That adoration is something special you give to your father, and the reason that you give it to your father is because he's such a big guy and you're also like young and you don't know much about life. So you give that. It's very hard to project that image to your father when you're older, or even to any other man. That said, when when you come into adulthood, when you come um into maturity and understanding life, like that kind of is no longer the same, right? Doesn't mean that you cannot appreciate your husband or your boyfriend in different ways, but it cannot be that kind of childlike trust, right? It's never the same. It's never the same. And I think a lot of women do come to this realization here when she says, I a man can't give me anything I can't give myself, right? Like when you're young, your father can give you a lot of things that you cannot give yourself because you're young. But as you get older, you realize, oh, a lot of things you can also provide. The team doesn't seem to agree. There's this one that some of you didn't hear it, but I thought it was funny. I wrapped my holy legs around his heavy head and let his tongue swim towards salvation. Baptize. I want to I want you to wipe away everything you know about love and start with the word kindness. Give it to them. Let them give it to you. Be two pillars equal in your love, and you carry empires on your backs. So that's good. Let's go with the rest. Let me see. There's another. I like awake. Let me try the awake section. I'm waking up from the longest night of my life. It's been years since I've seen the sun. Awakening. You can't quiet a woman who was born muzzled. I fell from the mouth of my mother's legs. Mm. Into the palms of this world, with God herself raging in me. Birth. I paid in blood to be here. I paid with a childhood littered with bigger monsters than you. I've been beaten into silence more times than I've been embraced on this earth. You haven't seen what I've seen. My rock bottom went so deep, I'm pretty sure it was hell. I spent a decade climbing out of it. My hands blistered, my feet swelled. My mind said, I can't take it anymore. I told my mind, you better get yourself together. We came here for joy, and we are going to feel it, to feel all of it. I've been hunted, killed, walked back to earth. I snapped the neck of every beast that thought it could. And you want to take my seat? The one I built with the story of my life? Honey, you won't fit. I juggle clowns like you. I pick teeth with fools like you for fun. I have played and swept and danced with bigger devils. That is a good one. On the days I can't hear you, on days you can't hear yourself, slow down to let your mind and body catch up to each other. Stillness. What a relief to discover that the aches I thought were mine alone were also felt by so many others. What a relief to discover the aches I thought were mine alone were also felt by many others. You know, sometimes we do feel like we are all alone with our misery, our loneliness. The economy is bad. Your relationships are not working. You're not in good health. You're angry. You're bitter because of the economy, whatever, the people in power, right? And you think like you're the only one, right? And then you discover that so many others are with you rocking the same boat of frustration. And I know misery loves company, but it feels good to know that I am not alone. I mean, I'm reading from a book of poems, right? Like, I'm not alone in these frustrations of life. My body renews itself in waves of the ocean and blood. I have a very complicated relationship with the country I was born in. Our men were slaughtered on those in those streets. Our women were raped. Our thousands were tortured and disappeared by police. The Indian state denies what they did, but no amount of yoga or Bollywood can make us forget the Sikh genocide they orchestrated. Never forget 1984. I will never be quiet about the way my people resisted so I could be free. You know, as a black woman, as a Kenyan woman, okay, I would not say I've been through a genocide. Thank God, right? But for me, I think of myself as a queen, as a princess, okay? Because of the way people have fought for my freedom. You know, black freedom is very expensive, okay? People have fought lives so that I can be free to say whatever the fuck that I want to say, okay? That is why I don't hold my breath. A lot of people will come to this channel and they will see me criticizing Israel, criticizing Donald Trump, you know, sometimes saying things that, I want to say about white supremacy, misogyny, sexism, and they'll get like they'll get mad that I'm talking. And let me tell you, people have fought for my freedom as a black woman, okay? Black men have been buried alive so that I can have my freedom to say whatever the heck I want to say, right? So nobody can shut me up, okay? Nobody can shut me up. I say whatever the shit I want to say, right? People died so that I can have my freedom as a black woman, so that I can go wherever the heck I want on this planet. Like, you cannot stop me. I know, right? My freedom didn't come. My freedom has been fought for by people who thought they'd better die so that I can live free. Okay? Other black people who fought for my freedom. So for me, I see that and I see the honor. I understand the way that they fought for me to live freely. And I understand I am some kind of a big deal. I know I'm a kind of a big deal. In case you forgot, like I'm a black queen, okay? I'm a princess, right? Black women are very free, you know. I am worth the struggle. So, if somebody died so that I can say whatever the heck I want to say, trust me, I'm going to criticize the Trump regime for raping 13-year-old girls, okay? I'm not going to shy about it. I'm going to say everybody from Bill Gates to everybody mentioned on those Epstein files, they need to be in jail. This is why I am here as a black woman living in freedom. You couldn't shut my people then, you can shut my people now. We were born free, we live free. Okay, we don't understand these oppressive systems. We are not part of them, okay? this is pure loyalty on our end, right? I understand. For me, I understand myself as a Black woman, okay? When people are talking about oppression, I don't even know what they're talking about, because for me, there are people who've died, people who've been buried alive, people who've shed blood, right? Because they want this Black queen, okay, popping melanin and being free. So take it for what it is. I do understand her when she says she has a very complicated relationship with the country she was born in. Their men were slaughtered on those streets, their women were raped, while thousands were tortured and disappeared by the police. A lot of people don't understand, like, the police is a state mechanism, like is an oppressive institution, right? It was meant to carry out not the wishes of the people, but the wishes of the crown, of the invaders in many colonial systems, right? Um, the Indian state denies what it did, but no amount of yoga and Bollywood can make us forget. Psych genocide orchestrated. They orchestrated. Never forget 1984. I will never be quiet about the way people resisted so I could be free, right? Yeah, I will never forget too how Black people have fought for me to be free, okay? And I continue on with the fight so every other Black person will know they were born free and they don't have to live by the rules of oppressive systems. Our wounds are the reason I started writing poetry. Every day I've ever written was to lead us back to into our arms. They could take away everything we have, and we'd conjure this beautiful life up all over again with the bones in our backs, building an empire from the ground up. It's exactly what we are good at, right? They can come take up our resources, everything, but she says we'd conjure this beautiful life up all over again with the bones in our backs, building an empire, right? From the ground up is exactly what we are good at. I like the stoicism. I do uh like, hi Mr. Short strokes. Right? Ours must be a politic of revolution. Freedom can't exist without the most until the most disadvantaged are free. Don't sleep on the doormat of your potential, waiting for things to happen when you could be the thing that happens. Isn't that good to say? Don't sleep on the doormat of your potential, waiting for things to happen when you could be the thing that happens. You know, right now there's a lot of, the job market is terrible. It's terrible, right? If you don't have a job, it's hard to find a job. But what are we doing with the things, you know? If you're in a world where you can start your own small business, you know, I always say, for somebody who, for somebody like me, who went for 4 years doing my undergrad, then did 2 years doing my master's, and then worked and realized, like, I'm not even getting by with the work that I'm doing, right? I can't afford a family. I can't afford, like, with the things that they are paying you, like how you're being paid these days, right? It's really hard to even making a family, right? This poem is a reminder that, you know, you can start your own business, maybe doing car detailing or selling some food on the street, or you can just do whatever you can do, right? You can just do whatever you can do. Like, I put a lot of time, like, on this channel, right? I don't know if it'll ever be monetized in a way that I can make a good living out of it, but let's say for sure, right? If I could do it all over again, right? Okay, so I chose bad causes to go to school for, right? There are things that you can go to school for. Please don't go to school to take a bachelor's in English. I didn't take a bachelor's in English. um I did see political education, which I think is good. A lot of people are not politically educated, and that's why we are in this mess that we are in, because a lot of people, they just don't understand how corrupt politics is, and they continue to perpetuate the very oppressive systems that we want to break down to create a better world. um so that's a big problem. But I'd say go to school to learn something you can make a living with, like nursing, or go into healthcare where you can get paid through insurance, because a lot of people are going to be paid through insurance. You can become a social worker or a clinical social worker. You can become like a nurse. You can become somebody who works in the lab. You can get skills that are in demand, right? For me, I went and did business school. I mean, I did a master's in political science, and I did a bachelor's in political science and a master's in business. I think I wasted my money. A lot of people will not say it, but it's not that. I would say that it's better to have some education rather than not have any kind of education. But like this woman, right? She has made a career writing nice poems. You can become creative, right? Just because you're not. Oh, my makeup, sometimes my makeup goes all over my book. When you have like this beautiful melanin, your makeup is also brown, and so it gets into your books, like your book gets this brown. I don't like that. By virtue of living in a racist world, non-black people are raised to be anti-black. We are all taught that lighter is better. Undoing, right? You kind of have to undo that mindset that because you're lighter skinned, you're better than somebody who is darker skinned. It's just a programming that you just have to undo yourself. Or if you're black or dark skinned like me, for me, I wasn't ever raised to think like lighter skinned people are better than me, okay? And I am shocked whenever I see these mindsets being perpetuated, whether it's in my family or in other places. Um, I you can't buy me to lighten my skin. I don't think lighter skinned people are more beautiful than dark skinned people, or they are better human beings than dark skinned people. Like for me, like my mindset is doesn't operate like that. But I understand there are millions and hundreds of millions of people who think that way. But it's just something you have in yourself to deconstruct. Nobody can do that for you. If you know that you've been raised in a bigoted society, you have to look at yourself and be like, why am I thinking this way? You know, why, what other ways has the society corrupted my mind? We all kind of have to go through those relearning and undoing, doing stupid things that have been put in our heads by a racist system. Your voice is your sovereignty, right? You look tired, he says. I turn to him and say, yeah, I'm exhausted. I've been fighting misogyny for decades. How else do you expect me to look? Right? um, this is a thing when you are trying to fight the vices in our society, like racism, misogyny, corruption, sexism. You can get tired because this mentality is like an evil spirit amongst us that just won't leave. Yeah. It just won't go away. So she says, Like, how else do you expect me to be? You look tired, he says. I turn to him and say, yeah, I'm exhausted. I've been fighting misogyny for decades. How else do you expect me to look? Even if it's corrupted, your mind, body looks insane. Tani says, you're very pretty, love your accent, love, love, love. Okay. No one on this planet is in more denial than the white man who, regardless of all the evidence in front of him, still thinks racism and sexism and all the world's pain that don't exist. Okay, so what do I have experience in this? I can tell you that I live in a predominantly white neighborhood in Southern California, and I have had time to sit with white men talk, white women talk, all over this. Um, there are men, white men, who understand like there is some white privilege that exists in the society, but there are white men, mostly like on the right, who don't see any kind of unfairness or white privilege or anything, right? They get vehemently upset and defensive when you say there is something like white privilege. They 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 don't want to look at it or acknowledge it. They think everybody else is lazy because, for me, these are the arguments that they have presented to me. They think that if you're not successful as a person of color, whether you're Indian or whatever, Spanish or whatever, yeah, it's because first of all you have bad credit, and that's why you cannot qualify for good credit, and you're jealous of hardworking white men. This is what they think about you, that the reason why you're not doing well, you're lazy. And that's what they teach their kids. Basically, that is something I have witnessed. And those are the things that they have said in my presence. Um, yeah, like all this suffering, like all this, like this racism, segregation that has been done for years, for them, they they don't believe that you exist in a construct, or like they don't take any of these historical things into account. Okay, they just deny them, deny them, deny them, deny them, deny them, as if history doesn't have a bearing on the systems that we have today, um and how they operate. Like, it's this constant denial, whether it's just plain ignorance or lack of education. I think if this Indian writer has experienced the same things that I have experienced living in a white society, when she writes, no one on this planet is in more denial than the white man who, regardless of all the evidence in front of him, still thinks racism and sexism and all the world's pain doesn't exist. And why would, I think it's a defensive mechanism. If you ask me, it's a defensive mechanism, because if you're a white man who is privileged in this society, and you have to look at the world and the way the world is designed for only you to succeed, right? Then you have to acknowledge a lot of things that you don't want to acknowledge about your story. Like, you're not more hardworking than other people, that you've somehow been given a pass to succeed in life more than other people. And I'm not saying that white people don't work hard. Like, I used to work with a lot of white people who work hard, right? But I've also worked with white people who, sometimes I was like, I don't see why you got that promotion over this person or that person, other than you're white. um yeah, uh, there are white people who deserve the things that they, but I know a lot of them that don't, right? They they didn't have the best credit score before they got that loan, or they didn't do the best job before they got that promotion. Other than, they got a pass for their skin. And if you think about DEI pretty much benefits a lot of white folks, because even as a black person with all the qualifications that you have, most of the times you will look at the person supervising you and you're like, I had to work all this hard to get here, and he had to really like not know anybody. I had a white guy tell me he had a big position. I asked him, how did you get it? He says, well, it's about who you know. Pretty much told me that, right? It's about who you know, not what you do, not what you're qualified, just the fact that it's about who you know. That's about it. These are the things that you will have to look at the world and understand. Like, most of the time, it's it's not even about whether you're qualified or not to get that promotion. It's just basically who you know and whether they like you. And even in promotions here, when I moved to America, I thought, okay, these people have a merit-based system. Now, America is not a merit-based system. If you move to America and you think like working hard is what gets you promoted and all that, this is not a merit-based system. You have to know this is a racist system, first of all, and it's all about who you know and whether they like you. And if you cannot understand those two things, you may not succeed in America. It's about whether they like you or not. And whether they like you, most of the times depends on whether other people will be accepting of you if they like you. Okay? So, like, those are harsh things to understand, but yeah. The world is changing. You can feel it undressing itself and slipping into something more uncomfortable and just more. People are making waves. I'm not interested in a feminism that thinks simply placing women at the top of oppressive systems is progress. The future of the world of the future world of our dreams can't be built on the corruption of the past. Tear it down. Today, I saw myself for the first time when I dusted off the mirror of my mind, and the woman looking back took my breath away. Who was this beautiful beastling, this extra celestial earthling? I touched my face, and my reflection touched the woman of my dreams, all her gorgeous smirking back at me. My knees surrendered to the earth as I wept inside at how I've gone my whole life being myself, not seeing myself, spent decades living inside my body, never left it once, yet managed to miss all its miracles. Isn't it funny how you can occupy space without being in touch with it? How it looked so long for me, how it took so long for me to open my eyes, embrace the heart of my heart, kiss the soles of my swollen feet, and hear them whisper, thank you, thank you, thank you for noticing. When I started loving myself, to be honest, I really came to the point where I felt guilty that I haven't even said thank you to my own heart, right? I never said thank you to my heart for all the times it has been beating, right? For all the times it's been beating for me, right? And it's when I started doing yoga and laying down in like the Savasana meditation, and sometimes I would hold my breath and just listen to the rhythm of my heart, right? And the heart beats for you relentlessly, whether you're mad, whether you're angry, whether you're having a bad day. It just keeps beating for you, right? It keeps beating for you. Have you ever said thank you to your heart? Or you just assume that is not something that you should be grateful for? Just telling it thank you for beating today like 1,000 times and not once giving up on me. Even when I'm angry, even when I don't love myself, even when I'm not treating myself with respect, you never once stop beating for me. Have you ever thanked your knees for just holding you up all day, right? Have you ever thanked your eyes, right? Or your mouth or your stomach? Have you ever thanked your brain, right? Sometimes we don't notice our body. All we do when we get into the mirror is to criticize our body. You hate your nose, you hate your skin color, you hate your hair, you don't look like so and so. You start all this criticism, like tearing yourself apart, right? And every cell in your body can listen to you, and the way you're criticizing it, you really, really, really must do the mirror work. When mirror work is, when it comes to self-love, self-development, self-growth, mirror work is something you must do. You step up into the mirror and you say, I really, really love you. I love you. I love you. I really love you. I like your beautiful eyes. I like your cute smile. I like your kinky hair. I like your beautiful skin. Like, you gotta do this over and over and over and create a new program in your mind, right? And it becomes so automatic that every time you step into the mirror, it's like, I'm so in love with this girl. Oh, she's so beautiful, right? Like, you gotta be able to get into that space where every time you step into the mirror, oh my God, what a miracle. Look at me. Oh goodness, right? Oh my goodness. I don't even know if there's a creature like this that will ever exist. Like, oh God, right? You really got to do those things in the mirror, because most of the time when you step into the mirror, you're not doing that. You're not, you have to understand the mirror is a reflection. Okay. It's going to reflect, and your life is also a mirror. Your life is also a mirror of what's going on inside of you. So you step into the mirror and you 100 the big deal, right? Never forget that. Is what is on the inside of you will reflect the life that is on the outside of you. So if you love yourself, guess what? And you acknowledge that you're so beautiful, you will only want to be in the company of people who say how beautiful you are, how good looking you are, how wonderful you are, right? You only want to be in that, because this is what you do when you go into a place where people don't treat you well or nice. You will feel like there's a disconnect, and you will move and you will find a new environment. And that is how you end up in an environment that is blessed by God, because you created a good reflection in the mirror for yourself. So I like that, right? Today I saw myself for the first time when I dusted off the mirror of my mind, the mirror of the mind, right? She dusted off the mirror of the mind, and the woman looking back took my breath away. Who was this beautiful beastling, this extra celestial earthling? I touched my face, and my reflection touched the woman of my dreams. Oh, how gorgeous, smirking back at me. My knees surrendered to the earth. I swept and sighed at how I'd gone my whole life being myself, not seeing myself, spent decades living inside my body, never left it once, yet managed to miss all the miracles. Isn't it funny how you can occupy a space without being in touch with it? How it took so long for me to open my eye, to open the eyes of my eyes, to open the eyes of my eyes, embrace the heart of my heart, kiss the soles of my swollen feet, and hear them whisper, thank you, thank you, Thank you for noticing, right? Has your heart ever noticed? Have you noticed your heart and feel that sense that the heart is telling you, thank you for noticing me? Like, thank you for noticing that I've been beating for you ever since you were born, right? Like, you never told me thanks, but today you notice that you have a heart and it beats for you and you said thank you, right? Oh, thanks for noticing that you have some eyes that have been helping you with sight and giving you this experience, right? Because all you notice is the things that you see that you don't like, you don't like, you don't like, you don't like. Have you ever noticed that you have eyes that actually make you see? Have you noticed that the air that you breathe all the time, your lungs, your nose, all this respiratory system that's working for you? Have you ever been grateful for your lungs before you grab that vapor? Before you grab that weed that you want to smoke and turn your lungs black? Have you ever noticed how those lungs work for you? How beautifully they want to support you in life, right? Before you take that junk food, have you noticed how your stomach really just wants the good food so that it can support your microbiome and your health and everything else? Have you noticed that those organs in your body want to be treated with respect? That they want to be noticed? That they want you to say thank you? You know, these things, like, we just take for granted, we take our body for granted, right? I want you to feel confronted by this. I want you to confront your soul today, right? So that when you start with, putting boundaries on what you eat, putting boundaries of not smoking, putting boundaries on who you sleep with, like, your understanding, right? You have something to protect, right? You have something to honor, which is a very spiritual thing, your body, your temple, right? You have everything to gain from believing in yourself, yet you spend all your time with self doubt. You have everything to gain by thinking you're badass. You got everything to gain from thinking you're badass, right? You got everything to gain from believing in yourself. Everything. Everything that you want will come from you believing in you. Yet you spend all your time in self-doubt. This book is confronting. This book, I tell you, this author, she's very confronting. There is a conversation happening inside of you. Pay deep attention to what your inner world is saying. All of us have this inner dialogue, um, inner programs that we have, our belief systems, the things we are learning. There is this conversation that we are having about life, how things are, where we are headed, you know, where life is going. There is this conversation that we are always having inside of ourselves. Pay attention. Tony says, thanks for being beautiful, positive, and beautiful person, right? There's this inner dialogue. Pay attention to what it's telling you. Because sometimes when I look at my conversations, I identify areas where I need to heal. I identify areas where I need to think more positively. I identify areas where I need more courage. I identify areas, you know, where I feel helpless and hopeless, and I need to pray or get into a state of, you know, thanking God or meditation, right? You gotta identify what's happening inside of you. I stopped resisting the unpleasant feelings and accepted that happiness has nothing to do with feeling good all the time. I think there's a maturity in that attitude, right? There's a maturity in that attitude where you say, I stopped resisting the unpleasant feelings and accepted that happiness has nothing to do with feeling good all the time. You know, uh, thank you, darling. So, happiness is not about feeling good all the time because life does not make you feel good all the time. You open up the news, you hear more bad news, like stories, right? If you hear like, oh, the president raped a 13-year-old girl like in 1994, that's not going to make you feel good, right? It's not. But there's a maturity that even when you hear that, right, is not making you crumble and go in, hide under your bed because you heard that. You acknowledge it, you give it the space, right? But that does not make you not wake up in the morning and do things. You wake up next to the your lover or your boyfriend or your whatever every day. You don't feel like you love them to the moon and back every day. Right? But that does not stop you from, waking up, preparing breakfast. Most women say they don't even like their kids half the time, but they will do things for them that show they love and care for them, right? And you understand, like, happiness is not about feeling good all the time, but, being kind is good. To be kind most of the time, to be a decent human being, right? Happiness has nothing to do with how you're feeling. For me, I always see it as a long-term thing. Like, in the long term, do I have long-term goals that I am working towards? Stability, um, kind of like solidifying my mind with stillness, living with the ease of well-being. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to feel bad sometimes. It's just part of the life, and having the maturity to understand that. It's easy to love the nice things about ourselves, but true self love is embracing the difficult parts that live in all of us. There's an acceptance, right? The difficult parts that live in all of ourselves. You can love everything about you 100%, but you can accept, right? You can accept. One of the things that we don't like about our existence is that we grow old, and sometimes we'll grow frail, right? It's not something to look forward to, I get it, but it's something you can accept, right? So, it was Cameron Diaz who said that she would rather grow old with a face that looks like hers than to not grow old with a face that doesn't look like hers. There's an acceptance that comes with that. I like that. I like that. Can you hear the women who came before me? 500,000 voices ringing through my neck, as if these were all a stage built for them. I can't tell which parts of me are me and which parts are them. Can you see them taking over my spirit, shaking out of my limbs to do everything they couldn't do when they were alive? I dive into the well of my body and end up in another world. Everything I need already exists in me. There's no need to look anywhere else. Home. This that one thing about, like, sometimes I look at the things that I would want, right? I would want more money. I would want to travel all over the world. I love to, like all these things that I sometimes look and be like, okay, I want. But what if I don't have those things? I'm still here living in my body and I'm okay. you know, like it's still okay for me. I'm here in my body, just chilling. Maybe I'll call my friend, we'll talk a little bit. I'll just be here without all those things. And I'll still be fine. I'm at home, I'm resting, I'll be fine. Right? And the world will still go, the sun will rise tomorrow, life will still go on. And then you realize, did I really want all those things that I was looking for? Or did the world make me think that I wanted all those things? Because I'm kind of happy and okay without having them until I remember that, oh, I may want more money. Oh, I may want to travel the world. Like, I was still okay without those things a minute ago. It's only when they come into my mind and then I'm like, maybe I want them. Maybe I didn't want them. Maybe somebody made me believe I wanted those things when I didn't even care at all whether I had them or not. Okay, so that's the book, the poem. You can have that book, Rupi Kaur. I think she's an Indian writer, and I think she's actually won the Nobel Peace, like a Nobel Peace Prize or something because of her books. Like um, she's a great poet, and the way she articulates things in a simple poetic way, it's just nice. Yeah, so share with us what you like. I'm trying to fast today, so I'm trying to take some cream, some tea. Try not to eat today, but my friend and I, we are doing a 3-day fast. It's been hard for me to do this fast. It do look like I'm treating my body well. Thank you, love. I try. I try to do that for my body. Like these days, I'm very conscious about the environments I find myself in, you know. I'm very conscious about the way people around me treat me. There are places I'll leave. Like I've left jobs because of the way people treated me. And some people may think that that is shallow, but for me right now, my feelings are very important, right? Like if I'm going to be in a space where I'm putting my energy into helping somebody like make money in their business, if they cannot treat and talk to me with a respect in a respectful way, I'm not gonna work for them, right? Like I'm not going to work for them. I left my other job in this terrible economy because they kept shouting at me, right? Like treating me like I'm a stupid idiot, right? And I was like, I don't want my body, I don't like my thoughts and my space and the person that I am to be in an environment where they are disrespected. right? Because when you start loving your body, when you start loving your heart, when you start loving your legs for walking the distance for you, you love your hands, you love your mind for all the things that it does for you. When you start loving and honoring that person, your body, your organs, when you start realizing like you don't want your to create disease in your body because of stress, because you become very selective even when you don't have choices, even when you don't have like a lot of choices, right? You become selective about who you're going to spend your time with, who you're going to help make money, right? You become very selective. Like even when you don't have like all that, like even when I don't have like a strong business going on, I am still going to select who's going to be my employer or not. And if they are not prepared to treat me with dignity and respect, I'm not going to put my energy into working for anybody who does not honor me, you know, because I honor myself and I put standards in my life, right? And when you realize that, right? When you realize you're actually the one who can decide these things for yourself, you take your power back, right? Um, and I think we don't do that enough. We just go, most of the times, we are going through life with this low self esteem. Like we are not trusting God that He will provide for us, right? Like we are not trusting God enough that if we choose to love ourselves, if we choose to be in environments that respect us, if we choose to honor who we are, right? Like, I'm not going to work in an environment where somebody is screaming at me if something goes wrong. And I really don't understand why people who own businesses like this, sometimes in corporations you will not see this. But these businessmen that own like small businesses, medium to big businesses, still like not a corporation, but a business, they treat their employees so poorly. Okay, they scream at their employees, they threaten to fire them. Like, you can't threaten to fire me because I'm already willing to walk away. Right? I'm already willing to walk away from a negative environment because I understand mental health, right? I understand that I love my heart and I don't want to keep it stressed out in an environment that's toxic. I understand that the ease that comes with well-being. I want to be in a supportive, a mentally supportive environment. And the fact that just because you employed me does not mean I'm your slave. I can walk away any day, anytime, right? And you got to know those things when you're thinking about your mental health. Like, if you honor the body, you honor your mind, you honor the heart, you honor your peace of mind, and you realize that, you know what? Like, I don't, when I was younger, I never thought like I had all these choices that now that I know that I have, right? That the thing with me, I am okay suffering. I am okay with some suffering. I am okay with not having a lot of money, right? As long as I am home and in peace, right? I am okay with not having the finest clothes to wear as long as I have peace of mind. Like, I'm in an environment that gives me peace, right? I am okay to be with a boyfriend or a man who treats me with respect and loves me, makes funny things, makes me laugh, makes me like be in a good mood, and somebody who has a lot of money and wants to make me miserable, right? Because I understand like my heart wants to be happy, my mind wants to be at peace, and I value those things above so many other things, right? So I am okay with those there are things that I am okay with not having so that I can have a good peace of mind. So, like, you can't threaten me in a bad, like, toxic work environment that, oh my God, I'm going to fire you. I am already ready and willing to walk away if it's a toxic work environment. You don't have to even threaten me, right? You don't have to threaten me. I've already taken all the power back. Because why? I'm already willing to walk away. you know, like you can, it's kind of like when you're telling a child, oh, do these things and I'll give you a slice of pizza. And the child is like, I don't want the fucking pizza anyway. What else are you going to use? What are you else going to use to entice me? Because I don't want the fucking pizza, right? Um, when you don't want to be controlled by people, you realize, oh, they cannot really control you once you decide, right, what matters to you. Like, your employer is like, I'll fire you if you don't do that, without them realizing, like, you also walk away if they don't treat you well, right? Like, it's a two-way traffic. They can fire you, but you can also walk away because nobody is there, right, to tell you that you have to. That's the only job that God has for you. That's the only place that God has for you to make money. That in eternity, like, they're the only employer who can hire you, and that's the only place you can make money, right? You realize that you can break yourself from that thinking right here in your mind, right? And you can believe in yourself, and then you can try to make another life out of yourself. Like, there are these things that the system wants to tell you, like, oh, like, we are the only ones, right? Like, my boss, like, the one that I left, so I was recruiting and hiring for them, and so they were short staffed. They needed a customer service rep. They were short staffed, and I was helping him get a customer service rep. And I was connecting with this guy, and I booked an interview so that they can talk with the boss. A great candidate. I liked him. The boss decided not to show up for the interview. You know, he decides he's too busy to talk with this candidate, but he didn't tell me to cancel the interview. So this candidate gets onto the Zoom interview and the boss is not there, right? He doesn't have a good reason for why he did not show up for the interview for this candidate. And then they try to bribe him. They try to bribe him. They try to say, oh, tell him he can start tomorrow. We will give him an extra $500. Remember, this candidate is already working somewhere else, right? This person is already working somewhere else, and they think for $500, this person will just quit their job and come work for an arrogant company who don't even show up for an interview that they have already scheduled, right? Some kind of disrespect like that. And this candidate was like, tell them that I don't want to work for them. I don't want to work for people like that. And I was like, wow, I love this candidate. Knows how to read people, knows how to read the work environment. And it didn't take me long before these people, this boss and everything, they started being very mean. If something goes wrong like that, sometimes is their fault. They start blaming people, shouting at them that things are not going their way, right? Because for them, they don't have to follow protocol, but you have to follow protocol, right? If they do something and they're shouting, they're being unprofessional, they're being disrespectful, they think that is okay. If you did it, they would call it insubordination, or they would call it something else, right? So it's kind of like an abusive work environment that I don't know whether they want to instill fear in people so that they can control them. But if you're not able to see these dynamics, you will be in a work environment where you're ruled by fear, you know when you realize you're a very skilled person, all you have to do is believe in yourself. You're very skilled. You can transfer your skills somewhere else. You can go work for other people who respect you. You can go for work for other people who have boundaries, because let me tell you, these people who are treating you with disrespect, they do that because they think you don't have another choice, right? They don't think that you have options, right? But you always have options, right? Even in a bad economy, you can get another job. Okay, you may not, you can get a job, probably doesn't pay you very well, but treats you with respect. That's going to give you more stability. Any place where they disrespect you, no matter how much money they have, you're always going to lose out in the end, because these are people who can dump you like a hot potato in the middle of nowhere, right? These are people telling you that they will not be taking care of you, right? You'll be enslaved in their job, in their systems, but in the long run, they're not going to take care of you. They are making it clear that they're here to exploit you and nothing more. Like, you gotta be able to find ways to believe in yourself in this system. You gotta be able to lead with loving yourself if you want to find happiness in this system. Like, nobody can set these boundaries for you, right? You're the only one who can set boundaries for yourself. I always say, for me, I usually leave, okay, because I know that I'll create something for myself, so I usually leave. But if you don't have the option, get a lawyer. So you start collecting evidence against your employer and eventually sue them whenever you are ready to leave, or whatever when you get something else, right? Start collecting evidence, get a lawyer, and tell them, like, this place, they violate a lot of workers' rights, a lot of things. And whenever you have an email exchange that's suspect, you forward it to your lawyer. Anything that happens, you forward it to your lawyer. Then you start gathering evidence. The moment you leave and you decide you're going to sue them, you will have so much paperwork, and they will not know what you have and what you don't have, right? Then you can strike, and get new opportunities. You can always plan things ahead. Um, Tony says, I had a job where the environment was so negative, so I quit the job. The people there gossiped and were negative, and I found another job. Yeah, you find another job. Like, you might think, oh, it's a bad economy, and it's a terrible economy right now, right? But there are thousands and thousands of jobs out there. You can always pivot your life. You can always get new skills. Don't ever feel that this is it for you. Like, this negative environment is it for you. Because let me tell you, the number one thing that kills people is stress. Is the leading killer around the world, right? People stay in negative environment. Remember, your body is meant to take small doses of stress. But when you live year after year after year in a chronically stressful environment where people are screaming at you, threatening to fire you, it's gossipy, it's negative, okay? You wake up not feeling, you will notice, you wake up, you're not wanting to go to work. Already your body is communicating to you. Like, your body does not want to go there. So your body is already now telling you that we've hit a threshold. You're not just dealing with daily stress here and there, it's becoming chronic. You can get high blood pressure, you can get hypertension, you can get a stroke, you can have all these things happening to you. You're not able to sleep, you're not able to digest food. Some people get cancer. Like, stress can take a battle. Your relationships can fail, your marriage can fail, all because every day you wake up, right, you take in poison from a negative environment. John Moeda says, I was invited by my boss for a paid tryout day. to see if I like the job and company so I could taste the atmosphere. Then I was invited for contract terms and was asked, I planned my summer holiday. You know, I'm glad that they are doing that, having you like try out the culture, the company, and the culture, right? And see what it is. You know, whether you like it or not. Let me see. Yeah, when you have like zero tolerance for behavior before it escalates, you can avoid a lot of heartbreak, a lot of stress. You know, once you become very good at looking at cultures, regardless of whatever, right? That company that I was working with, like I knew, I knew it was going to be a toxic work environment. Even I think even before I started that job, okay? And we had even discussed the pay, and like after 90 days they are going to give me this type of pay. We are going to talk about the bonus. And when I brought it up, and it's something that we had even signed on, they said no. Okay. They said no about the terms that we had all agreed and signed about. They said no, and they told me that they liked my job and they wanted me to keep working there, but they were not going to honor the terms of pay that we had signed upon the day that I started working there. Toxic people, narcissists. um I'm glad I found you today online today because you make me feel so good by your beautiful personality. Thanks for all your good advice. Yeah, I'm originally from Kenya. I live in the US. Yeah, like when you did become more choosy and picky, like for me, I knew that even the beginning of that week, like this is a toxic environment. Um, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to stay there even for 2 years. Like already when you know yourself and how you want to feel, how you want to go about feeling life, you know, sometimes we don't think about, like, you decide how you want to go feeling in life. You decide how you want to feel about your life. And it things and environments that are against that feeling that you want to feel in your life. So for me, I am against environments that don't make me feel the happy feeling that I want to feel in life. I'm against environment that don't make me feel emotionally safe. I am totally against an environment that does not make me feel emotionally safe. Like that's like my number one deal breaker, even in a relationship with people, because I understand being in survival mode and feeling safe, what that does to your mental health, what that does to your nervous system, how that makes you experience life. You know, people in loving, caring, safe relationships and environments have a very, very different life experience from people who are in survival environments where they feel emotionally attacked, where they always feel like they have to constantly prove their worthiness or their existence, right? Is very, very different environment from places where you feel accepted and loved. You're living a totally different life, right? Same here, same planet. And once you realize, oh, you're the one who determines how you want to feel, and you're the ones who determines whether you want to stay in one kind of environment or another, right? and you're the one who determines. So for me, there are things that I'm not willing to pay for, right? I'm not willing to pay my life and my time in an environment that makes me feel bad about myself in exchange of money. Like, I'm not willing to sacrifice my mental health, my happiness, the way I enjoy life for other people, right? I am not willing to help somebody grow their business and dedicate my lifetime into helping them grow their business if they're not going to treat me with dignity and respect. I'm not going to support your business, and I'm not going to do shit for you, right? I don't want to spend my time there. Yeah. I will not even buy products from companies and people that don't support my rights, right? I'm not ever going to buy the Tesla trash can ever in my life because the CEO doesn't support human rights, right? I don't want the trash can, okay? You can set it up on fire, bury it. I don't care. I don't even care whether it's electric or it's personal vehicle that can drive itself and fly itself to Mars and back. I don't fucking care about it. You can burn it for all I care. It's a trash can, right? That's how I evolved my mindset. People who don't care about me as a human being, about my feelings, where like people who don't like me. Remember, we are in an environment where people promote people that they like, even if they are not qualified. Okay, they just have to like you. So if you're in an environment where they're not liking you, they're using you in the worst way possible. Okay, so you should have like zero tolerance. Okay, like with all my skills, my talents, my beauty, it's a privilege, right? That I walk into your office for an interview and ask to work and spend my time there and make you money. You're the one benefiting from my time here on this planet and making a profit out of it. And if you don't have any appreciation for it, I'll go take it somewhere else where they can appreciate it. Last time I checked, people want talented, educated people who love to take care of themselves, people who are in good health, people who, have a good shoulder, a head on their shoulder, right? If you cannot appreciate all this work that I put to make sure that I am happy, I bring in positive energy to the workplace, that I am supporting your business, supporting of your clients, making everybody happy and joyful around the workplace, taking care of my health, my mind, so that I can spread all this positivity and good energy around everywhere I go. And I am spending time at your company for 8 hours or more a day. If you're not appreciative of that, I'll take it somewhere else where they can appreciate the kind of people that I am, right? Don't compromise. You love yourself, you treat yourself nicely, you take care of your body, right? Let them go hire those other people who are shallow, who don't take care of themselves, who don't have no respect for themselves, right? Don't compromise when it comes to your mental health, when it comes to self love. Don't compromise. There is no way of you to win, right? When you don't lead with self love and self respect and self regard, you will not be able to win in this life if you are not uncompromising about those things. The moment you become uncompromising about those things, immediately you win. Immediately you strike your winning fortune. Immediately. Because guess what? You've put a barrier against unhappiness, and you've put a wall so big, right, that unhappiness cannot find you unless it is able to break those walls, right? But you have decided, right, like um um to put in the wall, right? You've put in the boundaries. You win that very moment. You win that very moment. uh, because you choose yourself and you decide, I will not find myself dead in an environment that I'm not appreciated. You win. That moment you decide that is the moment you win, because you will always be now in happy environments that people love and appreciate you, because you decided to make that the line. You decided to draw that boundary, right? So for me, there are people that I don't talk to. I don't talk to. I see them when I walk, maybe in a coffee shop. It's like they're on my peripheral vision, right? Because why? Because previously, if I had interacted with them and they said something mean or something, they become invisible to me all of a sudden, right? They're not in my line of vision ever again. For the rest of our lives, they'll be on the peripheral vision, like on the sidelines of my vision, right? They don't exist. Like I have the main place I'm going, my directions, my life, they're on the peripheral vision. Like they cannot break that. They cannot even break into my presence for me to see them here in front of me, right? Because I have some pride and I have some self-love. And that's how it's going to be for us for eternity, right? Like if they are going to come up with that, if they don't change their attitude, I'm not going to compromise with disrespect. So it's going to be that way. Now you see, my whole life transforms because there are people who always be out here, the negative people on the peripheral, watching from the miles, right? I don't care how my life is, but they will not be in it. Whether I'm thriving, whether I'm not thriving, whatever it is, their negativity is not ever going to be in my space because I decided that they will not be in my space. You know, somebody said the other day that some people have to be on another level of stupidity to think that they can wrong you, right? And not apologize and think that with the passage of time, you're somehow going to forget that they betrayed you or they did something, because they think with the passage of time, you're somehow stupid enough to forget that this is the snake that bit me and you're going to allow them back in your life, right? I'm not that kind of stupid. I will not forget. I might even forgive you because I don't carry any kind of bitterness, you know, but I'm not going to think about you and you're not ever going to be in my life again because you already showed me that I cannot win. When you're in my presence, you're going to betray me and sabotage me. You already decided, like you're going to be the snake that strikes my heel. Let me tell you, there will be no compromising, right? Oh, Om, Om, right? Om is saying, peace for me, peace, 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 right? Peace, peace, right? You gotta tell them like you're not some kind of stupid, that if they don't apologize, that they think that with passage of time, these are like people close to you, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, or your friends, they might be some kind of stupid to think that they can come insult you, not apologize, and that you're going to allow them to continue doing that in your life. There are people who are shocked that we used to be friends, that I used to go seek them and sit down with them, have coffee with them. And these days I see them sitting on a coffee shop when I go to the same coffee shop to buy coffee, and I just pass them right there, not saying hi, go pick my coffee, go pick my book, start reading, ignore them 100%. And I do that over and over and over. And they're like, what is this girl made of? Badass. Badass. And I'm a Christian, right? I believe in forgiveness and I have forgiven people and I pray for them. I pray that they become better people, that they respect people in their circles. I pray for them. But for them to think they can slither back like a snake back into my life so that I can give them another chance, for them to say something mean, for them to strike my heel, for them to betray me again. I must be some kind of stupid if they think that with time, I'll become more stupid and let them back into my circle and let them back into my life. It's never gonna happen. I will forgive you. I will pray for you that you have a better heart, but you're not slithering back into my life. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Because I have decided the emotions that I want to feel. Hi, sick ladies, right? All right, because I have decided the emotions that I want to feel. I want to go on feeling happy, loving myself, and I realize I have to eliminate things that cause stress, that cause drama, right? I'd rather live alone, and I live alone. I don't even have a cat, right? I live by myself, right? I'd rather live that way in peace, right? Instead of being around people, you know, like people, a lot of people don't want to work on themselves, right? A lot of people don't want to work on their mentalities, like colorism, racism, like stuff like that, right? And they think that you should be able to be okay with those mentalities and those toxic beliefs that they have and still be their friends. I don't even understand that kind of a life. Because with me, like, see my how I love my dark skin. I moisturize it. It's beautiful. Like, you can tell I love myself. If I notice you're colorist, if I notice you're racist, we are not going to be friends. I'm not going to make light of your beliefs. I'm not going to allow you in my vicinity, in my life, okay? Is play these games. We're not gonna play these games. You're just not gonna participate in my life because I'm going to shut you off completely out of my life. It's not gonna be a game. I'm not gonna give you time to grow. I'm not gonna give you time to mature up and evolve. Okay, you can do that all on your own over there. Unless you want to take my class and support my business and do my coaching and probably grow, then I can have time for that. Other than that, I don't got time. I got not told time. No way. Okay, no fucking way. Huh? Solitude, right? I'd rather, because I have learned to meditate. I've learned to meditate. I've learned to stay in quietude, in silence, and in peace. Right? I don't need affirmations from other people, right? This is what those people don't understand, right? I have decided that negative energy is something that I cannot tolerate, right? You gotta have this attitude, right? A lot of people don't understand, like, to be confident in your life, you have to decide how you want to feel. We learn through feelings and we learn through emotions. If people don't treat you well in your life, okay, and you keep giving them your attention, right? You give them your attention, they say something mean. You reward them with your attention for saying something mean. When are they gonna learn? People learn with emotions. When people do something mean or bad, right? You have to ostracize them for them to learn. Like, hey, she doesn't want you, she doesn't like you, right? People come here sometimes, they say many things, I block them. Now you can go figure out somewhere else on somebody else's channel not to comment mean things, right? Like, you gotta be able to ostracize people who are mean to you. People learn through emotions. You can't reward bad behavior. You can't reward, your employer with your time, okay? And every time you're there, they're screaming, shouting at you. You're not able to even perform your job very well. Like, you can't keep affirming them to disrespect you and validating that disrespect and expect that they'll change, right? The moment, I for me, I can't tolerate more than 3 strikes of bad behavior, right? Especially in a work environment. When it's like more than 3 strikes, and my nervous system starts to wondering, when is he going to have another outburst? When is he going to have another mental health breakdown? When is he if I'm to the point that I'm wondering that, I know I'm out of there. I know I am definitely out of there, because I am not anybody's emotional punch bag. I am not doing any emotional labor for any grown ass man or any grown ass woman, right? I am not afraid of anybody, but I am not going to tolerate anybody's emotion. Like, if you don't know how to regulate yourself, go get a therapist, because I'm not one for you. You're not paying me for one. Like, I don't tolerate all this disrespect, right? Um, yeah. So when I quit my job, my boss was left like wondering, what did I do? I was like, you are very disrespectful. Now you're wondering why I will not be here tomorrow to work for you. Oh, because you thought that somehow I was going to let this behavior to go on. Sometimes even I wonder, sometimes I really wonder, like, what made you think that I would allow this behavior to continue? Like, what made you think that I'll be here tomorrow working for you when you're behaving like this? Like, what makes you wonder, like, this is the like in my childhood when I was dreaming about a good life, that this is the shit that I was dreaming about. Like, I don't know. Sometimes protecting yourself is another's karma. Balance is important. Authenticity is key. Authenticity isn't always nice. It's delivery, balance, knowing and being the gatekeeper, balancing too. You're the gatekeeper of your happiness, right? And happiness does not mean that you ought to feel good all the time, but you have to know the price of your of your peace of mind. Rooney, nice to see you here again. Yeah, infinities, like, balance is important. Nobody's going to create that balance for you, because even if I talk to you about mental health and the boundaries and the lines you must draw, you're the only one who decides, like, what that is going to mean for you. Like, you're the only one who can decide what balance means for you. Let me read for you this confronting poem that she wrote. Well, I was growing up, my dad worked 6 days a week, driving an 18-wheeler truck from one end of the continent to another. He'd come home after a week on the road while my siblings and I would be sleeping. The sound of the front door always woke me. The basement we lived in was small. I could hear Mom in the kitchen making him a fresh meal of dal and roti. Dad would eat, shower, settle into bed, but as soon as his eyes drifted off, his boss would call and say, "Get back on the road again." And just like that, we'd catch a glimpse of Dad leaving. When you're an immigrant, you keep your head down and stay working. When you're a refugee and you don't have papers, when they call you illegal, outsider, terrorist, towel head, you work until your bones become dust. You're the only one you can count on. Every time he started a new company, he'd spend months working for free. during their mandatory training period. Funny how they needed to train a man who was fully licensed, qualified, and experienced. And they don't want to pay him. After the third month, not making a penny, not taking a penny home, dad would demand compensation and they'd offer him 5 cents for every mile he drove. Years ago, while driving a load from Montreal to Florida, he ended up at a hospital somewhere in the middle of America with his appendix moments away from bursting. When the doctor told him they had to get him into surgery immediately, he looked at her and said, "I can't afford it. Can this wait till I get back home to Canada?" "When do you get back home?" the doctor asked. "In 3 days," he responded. And she looked at him like he must be out of his mind. Luckily, she didn't have to she didn't have it in her to let him risk his life. She performed the surgery for free that night. And you want to know what my dad did? Right after they stitched him up, he walked out of the hospital, climbed on his truck, finished the delivery, and spent 3 days driving back home. Why would you put yourself through Why would you put yourself through that? I ask. He shrugs his shoulders and tells me, "My boss wouldn't give me a flight home. Where would I leave my truck? I couldn't drive back with a trailer full of undelivered car parts and risk losing my job." While listening to him, all I can think is that no one should have to work to the bone like that. It breaks me into pieces to hear about every person who grinds for less than what they are worth. How do we sleep at night, knowing the systems we uphold treat the foundations of our society as second class citizens when they are the reasons the wheels on this world stay turning? I want to give my dad a lifetime of peace for the lifetime he spent on the road to feed us. I want him to know what comfort feels like. I want him to see he's done enough. A lifetime on the road. People who wear turbans, towel heads, actually wear their turban for thermoregulation to maintain homeostasis to help prevent dehydration. I wear beanies, same difference. And yeah, I don't to be honest, I didn't know people call other people towel heads. Like I mean, this is the first time like I've heard that term in a book, right? And that shows you like my mind and my world, like there are things that people like calling people names and stuff like that is not part of my world, right? There are people who spend time thinking about words to call other people. I don't even understand that kind of a brain. Um, yeah, some people do it for religious purposes. I know, like, a lot of people cover their heads because of religion too. I cover my head because sometimes I want my hair to just like a protective hairstyle. Yeah, but to call somebody who is just grinding to feed their family just to look for a derogative name, I've always thought like nobody is illegal in a planet that God put them in. I don't care what political systems and artificial systems that we put on this planet that we all find ourselves in, right? It's a conditioning. It's a conditioning. Nobody is illegal anywhere. You find yourself on this rock that's floating around the space. Yeah, we are all just in space, floating around, right? Year over year until we drop dead, right? Call people illegal, towel heads, just disrespectful. Is to fall into this conditioning of the system.